Perfect strategy does not exist. Perfect strategy does not exist. And I've repeated that. I want it to sink in, because if anyone is selling you a foolproof plan or says that they have a foolproof plan, they're full of shit. Welcome to the Master Your Business podcast, where we bring you the best in branding, marketing, and customer experience strategies. I'm Deirdre Martin, your host. And if you've been asking yourself how to level up your growing business, your marketing, your customer experience, or how to make more of an impact with your brand, this show is for you. You'll discover actionable tips and insights to help businesses just like yours gain clarity and illuminate the path to success. Train with industry experts, learn sales and marketing strategies, business and mindset hacks, and be inspired by authentic entrepreneurship stories. As your host, I share the no-nonsense advice that accelerated my journey from boring bank manager to industry thought leader in marketing and customer experience. Learn how I made the leap into the world of six-figure success, digital courses, keynote speaking, and co-authoring a #1 bestseller in just 1 year. Together with interviews from industry experts, this show ensures you're seen, heard, and hired by your ideal clients. Join our growing community of subscribers and let the Master Your Business podcast empower you to tackle your most significant challenges on your path to business success. Don't miss out. It's your turn to learn from the best and master your dream business. Hey there, Master Your Business listeners. Feeling stuck, outmaneuvered, or like someone else is calling the shots when it comes to your business success? If that's you, my friend, I swear I've been there, and both metaphorically and quite literally feeling lost, a bit stuck, and basically like I've been revving my engines, but my wheels are spinning and I'm stuck in the mud. I have totally been there. And when I realized what was going on, what I identified was that I actually had a gap in my brand strategy. And my gap was that I was afraid to narrow down who I wanted to serve and then how I was going to serve them. When I figured this out, I had my first ever year in business where I made over €100,000 in less than 6 months. Now I've dialed that down even more, and in 2024, I exceeded my 2023 revenue in the first 3 months. Now it's not cash in the bank yet, it's in sales, but still, right? That all stemmed from my brand strategy, and I am so super proud of this, even more so because I recently read on techreport.com where they had a blog article that showed statistics about women entrepreneurs. And in those statistics, it said that 88% of businesses owned by women typically produce below $100,000 revenue annually. Isn't that freaking nuts? Really, men tend to outperform women, not just as employees, but actually as self-employed individuals as well. Now, I'm not having a go here, guys, because I know there's some fellas who are listening to the show. But I am really proud to be in that top 12%. And I'm also really proud of the female clients that I have and the women inside of Business Accelerator, because many of them are over that 6-figure threshold and have limitless potential to hit multiple 7 figures in their businesses, which they totally can do. And you can too, male, female, whatever. So if you're feeling any of the things I mentioned, metaphorically or literally, it's time to flip the script or plot twist. Do whatever you need to do and design your own future. I'm Deirdre Martin, and today we're diving into strategic thinking. I just crammed 4 days of a level C strategy workshop into my brain recently, and I am bursting at the seams to spill the beans on how you can make your competitors irrelevant. Now, just to explain what level C is, it's the world's most visionary brand education program. And it's designed by the leading pioneer, author, and expert in brand, Marty Neumeier. Marty's written multiple books, but his book Zag has been named as one of the top 100 business books of all time. And the principles and strategies in that book have been used by none other than Steve Jobs of Apple. freaking awesome. But it's also been used by some corporate giants like Google, UPS, HP, Microsoft, PayPal, to name but a few. So it's fair to say that these strategies for strategic thinking and all of those sorts of stuff have been tried and tested. But here's what I want you to know. Strategy is not just some corporate crap. And you can be a startup and have no money and create a freaking awesome strategy. Now, let's get clear on this. What exactly is strategy? It's your secret weapon for shifting those power imbalances that you might feel your competitors have in your niche so that you can make them totally irrelevant. Now, here's a truth bomb, or because I'm on the podcast, I should say, here's a mic drop moment. Perfect strategy does not exist. Perfect strategy does not exist. And I've repeated that. I want it to sink in because if anyone is selling you a foolproof plan or says that they have a foolproof plan, they're full of shit. And I don't just mean brand strategy, sales strategy, marketing strategy, any freaking strategy, because strategy is about making the smartest bets your business. And your business is unique. Just like you are unique, so is your business. And so there's no cookie cutter strategy that will work for someone else that anyone can guarantee will work for you too. And if they think there is, they're freaking liars. That's it. I've been asked by so many clients, what are the results going to be? What can you guarantee me I'll have at the end of this? But I can't guarantee anything. I've always been really clear and straightforward with people about that because market demand will determine how many people buy from you, especially if you're very bespoke or in a particular industry. I've had clients who have been very niched, and what they did was really customized, and their process to create the solution that they provided was incredibly slow and cumbersome and clunky. And so I couldn't guarantee that they were going to be oversubscribed. And for a lot of my clients, I help them with the strategy piece, but they do the implementation. And if they're crap with the implementation, that's going to affect results. Now, obviously, I'll help and I give feedback with the implementation, but it's up to them to actually go and do it or to get somebody who's really good to help with the implementation. Guaranteed results is just not a thing. There's other types of guarantees that you can support clients with, but results, if you're a service-based business, it's not always like a real thing that you can do. Okay, so be honest with people if they're telling you, or if you have been saying to people you can guarantee results. If you can't guarantee results, don't say you can. Okay, rant over. Now let's get a little bit practical around strategic thinking. But before I do, I want to just say that brand strategy and business strategy, they're not exactly the same thing, but they are really closely correlated. And most people don't know the difference. And if that's you, don't worry. I didn't really know the difference either. Business strategy might include people, operations, finance, and so on, whereas brand strategy is more about the direction your business is going and outmaneuvering your competitors so your business becomes successful. Now, to figure that out, you need to think strategically. Now, if you're like me, you might be a bit more of a doer than a thinker. I come up with my plan and then I get into the weeds of doing it. And I have paid people to help me think more strategically because that's why I have mentors. That's why I'm in masterminds with others, because I need to create the space for myself to think strategically. Because otherwise, what I end up doing is I end up sitting at my desk and doing the work. And it's sometimes busy work as opposed to strategic work. And even in my business accelerator, what I've done is I've created the space for clients to be able to ask me questions that enables them to become strategic in their business. We all need space for strategy because you can't sit at your desk and just freaking come up with a strategy. It just doesn't work like that. But before I go through how to really best think strategically, I want you first to just consider what the benefits are of doing this, like clarity. When you're feeling lost and You can see exactly where to focus your energy for a bigger impact. That clarity, when you don't feel lost and you know what to do day in, day out to help you achieve your goals, is freaking incredible. There's no price you can put on that. It's really helpful. And I think I've mentioned in a previous episode, I've definitely said it to clients that what I've started to do every single day is I write down, what are my revenue generating activities and what are my non-revenue generating activities? And guess which ones I focus on, right? And the reason I can do that is because I have clarity on what the direction of my business is, and I have clarity on what the revenue generating activities are. So that's the first benefit. Another benefit is it helps you make better decisions. When you're agonizing over choices about what to do, all of those agonies are gone because strategy streamlines your process for confident action. Another benefit is a competitive advantage. Those gaps that your competitors miss, those are opportunities where you can swoop in and dominate. And thinking strategically enables you to do that. And the final one I think that jumps out at me is ultimate success, because it all adds up. You have a clear path, you can make smart moves, and you get to beat the competition at the same time whilst hitting your goals faster. Success, right? Now, I want to give you an example of a company that did this really well. And I want you to think about Blockbuster or Extravision. Do you remember them? Yeah, I barely do either. But Netflix saw an opportunity way before everyone else. They realized that people weren't just after a specific movie, they wanted convenience. And what was inconvenient was bringing the freaking DVD or video back to the shop the very next day. Used to drive me nuts. I would always have those late fees bringing it back, because if it wasn't back by 6 p.m. or 7 p.m. or whatever time, pain in the derriere. You know what I'm talking about. But these guys at Netflix came up with monthly subscription ideas. DVDs by mail, that was revolutionary. But the real genius was seeing the shift to streaming way before anybody else did. They invested really heavily while competitors clung to that old model. And that strategic thinking is why Netflix dominates today, and Blockbuster or Extravision, they're like a footnote in history. Kids aren't even reading about them yet, but they will be at some stage. This same sort of strategic thinking applies to traditional business models as well. So let's use accounting as an example. Not the most exciting, right? But neither was Extravision or Blockbuster. But what if an accountant, instead of just crunching numbers at tax time, what if they positioned themselves as a chief financial officer for hire, CFO for hire, for scaling businesses? They could offer strategic financial advice, forecasting, and all that high level stuff that helps business owners make money, not just save it. That's strategic thinking. It's taken a necessary evil, which is like paying your tax and that sort of accounting service, and transforming it into something that's more dynamic and probably will be way more in demand. I would love that for my business. Just saying. Anybody accounting out there? So here are 3 ways to level up your strategic thinking that I learned from my mentors in Level C. Number 1 is embrace the mess, because strategy is not just about creating pretty PowerPoints that you can present to everybody. It's really about getting your hands dirty. And picture a general plotting a war or a battle, right? They have the big map on the table and they have maybe little pins stuck in the map or arrows or something like that. There's probably crumpled notes. There's no such thing as a pristine checklist about how the battle's going to work. Everything is all over the place, and that's okay. Start by dumping everything out first. Dump out, what are your clients' frustrations? What kind of moves or counter moves might your competitors make? You know, that nagging gut feeling that you have that something needs to shift? Write that down. And the answers are in the chaos, I promise. And if you can use imagery as a way to brain dump, you could end up with a storyboard that shows exactly what you're thinking. And honestly, oh my gosh, it's so cool when you do, because the whole strategy is just done when you do it in the storyboard way. It's fun, actually. And you can use tools like Dolly to help you do that. So Dolly is like ChatGPT, only with images, or Midjourney is another one you might have heard of. Okay, so the second thing is to play devil's advocate. Now, and here's where things get fun. Because to outsmart everyone else, you have to outsmart yourself first. So take your favorite idea that you have, that you've written down when you were brain dumping, the one that gets you fired up, and literally tear to shreds. Now, I don't mean physically, metaphorically in this instance. What would your biggest critic say about this? Or why might this fail spectacularly, this idea? Force yourself to think like your competition. Find the weak spots in the idea and then fix them. Fix those ideas, fix the gaps before somebody else exploits them, before they become the next freaking Netflix and your blockbuster with videos left on your shelf, right? Metaphorically. And then the third one is tell the darn story, because strategy is about people. It's not about numbers. So forget bullet points. If you want your team or external stakeholders or investors or clients to come on board, you've got to be able to paint a picture of what that future looks like. So imagine that what does winning look like is a question for your business, is part of a movie trailer, right? Make it exciting. Make it even a little bit dramatic. Get hearts pumping. Get those brains buzzing. Those are some of the basics to strategic thinking. But to really unlock that strategic genius, ask yourself these 7 questions. Number 1, who the hell are you? Get real about your business identity, your strengths, and what makes you uniquely amazing. Number 2, what do you do that actually matters? And I don't mean the boring stuff. I'm talking about the problem that you solve that lights you up, that puts the fire into your belly and makes you get out of bed every day. What is the problem that you solve? The third one is, why should anyone give a shit? What's the impact or the transformation that you offer your clients? Why should they care? Number 4 is, what's the real problem? Cut through the surface crap and get to the core of what's keeping your clients stuck. Number 5 is, what does winning actually look like? What does success look like? This is the finish line. When you get there, how will you know you're there? Be bold, be ambitious, and dream big with this. Lastly, how the hell do you get there? Oh, that's number 6, actually. How the hell do you get there? What's the path? What are the tactics you're going to use? It doesn't need to be a rigid plan. It just needs to be the key steps at a high level so you can actually conquer. And the last one, the real last one, is, what's the payoff? What's the end game? Visualize that end game. What's the impact that's going to keep you going? Okay. Now, you might be a little excited after reflecting on those questions. I hope you're a little bit pumped. Woohoo! If you are, I am too. But here's how to start thinking about flexing those strategic muscles, right? Brain dump, get everything out of your head, journal, use mind maps, whatever works for you. Bring in a mentor, or ask your mastermind buddies if you're in a mastermind, or even ask a trusted client to bounce ideas around. And then seek out people who get this kind of thinking, people who can think strategically, because not everybody can. It doesn't come naturally to everybody. I love to think strategically, but I genuinely, and I'm good at it, I have to create the time for myself to do it on my own business. And if you've never done that, that's the other thing you need to do. Create the time and the space for yourself to think strategically and creatively about your business. Now, your brand strategy, just in case you're thinking, okay, strategic thinking, brand strategy, I've talked about both, and business strategy. So your brand strategy is a little bit different. And today I have been focusing on strategic thinking, as I said. If you want to know more about brand strategy, I suggest download my brand strategy checklist from www.deirdremartin.ie/brand strategy checklist. Easy peasy. Now, I also suggest that you go back and listen to episode 6 of the Master Your Business show with Stephen Horahan, because he talks about how to make sure your brand doesn't blend in. That's so important, especially if you want to outmaneuver your competitors. Okay, folks, let me ask you, did you get some value from this episode? Oh, I hope you did. And if you did, then make my day. Hit that subscribe button, leave a rating and a review, and spread the word. Until next time, keep mastering your business.